Hey, what's up? This is Rambo bringing you another basic guide to Tekken 7, this time featuring Eliza. We're going over some of the stuff I found the most useful while trying to pick up this character. And I'll be referring to the buttons. 1 is square, triangle is 2, X is 3, and circle as 4. Let's get started with her punches. Down forward 1 and 2 give you screen space to poke with. And I like to poke with her down forward 4. And her down 1 is pretty fast, puts her in a crouching state so you can follow up with some of her buttons while rising. I like to use while rising 1 because it'll give you knockdown and screen space. I like to use while rising 3 as well because it'll give me a launcher. While rising 4 is a quick, hit, give you some screen space as well. Her back 1 2 is my launcher one of my go-to launchers. And I'll be showing some of the juggles you can do a little bit later. Now she does, and I think, alright, moving on to her 2s. I like her 2-2 because it can connect to almost every special move that she has. And by special, I'm referring to her projectiles, her dive kicks, or her backhand things, or even her uppercut looking stuff. It connects on with all of them except for her quarter circle back 4. That won't actually count as a combo. I think quarter circle back 3 does, yes it does. And everything else you can go in there from her 2-2. Right. Let's see. And that's about it for the 2. Moving on to 3. Her down forward 3 covers a good, you can get in with that distance and then get in some screen space. Maybe push your opponent to the corner with that as well. Her down 3 is a low that'll make her crouch, and you can follow up with the wall rising as well from that. And I think, oh yeah, and then while rising 3 will give you the launcher that I mentioned earlier. And I think that is about it for 3s. For 4, a standing 4, it hits high and it knocks the opponent back. Just be wary of using that, and it comes out quick, but you gotta watch out for them whips. I mean, it is a high, so just know. For forward 4 is a command dash, just like Katarina. She has like some follow-ups with that. Some of the more basic ones is forward 4-1. It'll get you a high. Forward 4-3 will give you also a high. It'll give you the knockdown, screen space. Forward 4-2 will give you a knockdown, screen space, and if left alone, it'll put Eliza in a sleep state where she'll build meter. And you can actually cancel out of that if you hold back. It'll give you free to follow up with whatever you want, maybe another command dash forward or a projectile from that distance if you want. Her down, as I mentioned before, her down forward 4 is my poke of choice. Doesn't have terribly good reach, but I mean it'll serve its purpose if you're in there. You just have to keep in mind it's not terribly far. Let's see. Her down 4 also is a low. It'll put her in a crouching state so you can follow up with a while rising button. Her back 4, it'll move her forward, and on hit, if the opponent's still standing, you can follow up with a grab or some sort of pressure, like maybe a special move. Or that quarter circle back dive kick. Even though it's not like a legit combo, I mean, you can use it as a mix-up for when you want to mix up between the throw or mix up between the pressure. You can throw in that. You know, it's an option. We'll talk about her special moves next, more in depth. So her quarter circle forward 1 will give you a little bit of a wall right there. And if it hits, it'll knock the opponent back. Quarter circle forward 2 will actually throw out a projectile that'll travel almost, well, it'll travel a good distance, but from full screen it won't go all the way. That's if it's EX. If it's EX, I'm pretty sure it will. Yeah, it'll lose the 2 hits though, because it has 2 hits on it. If you're closer, you can get the 2 hits from it, but anyway. Now her forward, down, forward 1 is an uppercut of sorts that is pretty good for whiff punishing. Or when you feel that you see your opponent running towards you, you can throw it out as well. And the same movement for 2 will give you 3 hits and a little bit more damage. Now if you do it from 1 though, you can follow up with a juggle. So it's a sort of a launcher too. And the EX version does more hits and more damage. And I believe you might be able to follow up after that. Or not. Maybe not. Her quarter circle back 1, the backhand, it'll give you some screen space. Quarter circle back 2, same effect. It looks different. It looks like slightly different from the quarter circle back 1, but it serves the general purpose of giving you a screen space and does plenty damage. And the EX version is 2 hits, I believe. Also, when you're near a wall, Eliza's quarter circle back 1 will give you a wall hit, so you can follow up with something after that if you want. The quarter circle back 2 will not give you the wall hit. It's the quarter circle back 1 that will do it. Also, the quarter circle back EX of that with the EX version of that will give you the wall hit as well. Also, the way to get EX moves to come out is you want to press either 2 punches or 2 kicks at the same time. So if you want to get an EX projectile, you'll do the same movement, first will go forward, but you'll press 1 and 2 at the same time. Same thing for any of the other moves that are punch or kick related. Just press two buttons, 3 and 4 at the same time as you're doing the special move, and you'll get it. Now her quarter circle back 3 is a side kick, and it'll give you screen space. Quarter circle back 4 doesn't give you screen space. It'll still keep you in there, but I mean you can follow up with something on hit if you so desire. Now the EX version of that will give you the opportunity for a follow-up juggle. You can get some screen space after that. And there may be some of us who have trouble doing forward, down, forward motions in the Tekken franchise. I've found the easiest way to go about doing these moves, like for example, Eliza's uppercut requires this input, and if you just do it like in like say just do the Z motion like you do in, like anyone would do in Street Fighter doing Ryu's Shoryuken, it probably won't come out. You have to be pretty precise in the input. So what I found a good way to do it is after you move your movement stick forward and you reach the down portion of it, tilt your movement stick to the right or the left depending on which side you're on, ever so slightly, and either hold it there after you tilt it to the left or to the right, or just let it go, and it'll come out much more fluidly than if you just do the motion like a Z motion as you would in Street Fighter. You'll probably just get a dark wave, which isn't what you want. You want a smooth, you know, transition into that. So after you get your down, after you do your forward down, just tilt it ever so slightly to the right, and either hold it there or let go of the stick after you get that point, and it'll come out a lot more smooth for me, a lot more better. I believe that's it for her special moves. Her armor, her move that has armor on it, it'll absorb high and mid hits. Pretty good for ending rounds if you have spare health. It's forward, 1 and 2 at the same time. And it'll move her forward as well. So if you do it in from a distance, if you can predict the opponent coming in, pressing a button, absorb those hits and get your space and knockdown. Now while she's throwing projectiles, you may find that your opponent will start sidestepping in order to avoid them. And if they're around you while they're sidestepping, you can catch them with 3 and 4, and you can get a juggle off of that. Because it hits, it has the potential to hit opponents who are sidestepping. While rising 1, followed by stand 4, and then go into the forward 4 and 2. Let's see. Moving on to her juggles. She has quite a lot of juggles. As I mentioned before, my favorite ones are back 1, 2. And while rising 3. And I tend to avoid her 1, 2, 3s and her 1, 2, 4s, doing them raw. And the reason is because they start out with 2 or more high hits, which are easy to whiff, crouching opponents, and can put you in trouble against someone who knows what they're doing. That's why I tend to stick with back 1, 2 and while rising 3. Now, if I want to punish something that I know for a fact it's gonna hit, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, command dash 4, 2 will give you pretty good damage, and it's fairly easy to do. Juggles. Right, the juggle that I like doing from her back 1, 2. Back 1-2, 1-2-4. Forward 4-2. And while rising, 1-2-4, forward 4-2. And let's see, what else? Her rage art. Now from this distance, which is pretty good, she can go in. Her rage art is back 3 and 4 at the same time. It covers a pretty good distance.
Let the darkness consume.
And when it's done, it can put you at range for, you know, projectile tossing or closing that distance. Something to keep in mind when you actually manage to get the opponent away from you, like say with the stand 4 or maybe after a juggle, is that she can you know, you can either throw a projectile or close in the distance with her command dash. To follow up or not is up to you. Just be wary of the opponent's wake up timing, because sometimes say you want to follow up with the command dash forward one, you know, it won't reach, so you'll have to account for that by maybe dashing in once and then doing it. And if I can think of anything else. I believe that is it for Eliza. Yeah. Well, hopefully someone out there can take something away from this video. And thanks for tuning in.